This is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire weather briefing for Friday, May 8th. Looking at fire activity, we are starting to see increased fire activity. New fire starts in the red circles on the small side, but still starting to show that time of year nonetheless. Recent fires in the yellow. Prescribed fires confined mostly to our northern areas, given by those purple circle areas. It's been overall a dry week. You can see on the left precipitation, some moderate amounts along the high Sierra, maybe some of the higher terrain of northern Utah. The green indicates about a half inch or so. Otherwise, just traces to a couple of hundredths of an inch in the lighter blue and nothing elsewhere. You see the percent of normal on the right-hand side. Our 2-month flash drought index indicates the most severe areas in eastern and southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, southern Nevada, but that area is starting to creep further and further north. Snow cover pretty much confined to the highest terrain and peaks of the Idaho Mountains and western Wyoming, and some in the high Uintas and the northern Wasatch, maybe on the north and east aspects. And other than the highest peaks above 9,000 feet in the south, really not much at all. Our snowpack at record low levels this season, and it's pretty much done. Fuel conditions, looking at northwest Utah and parts of the Fish Lake further south, you can see the projection for ERCs is taking it towards the 80th percentile, both in northern Utah as well as some of the higher terrain in southern Utah, maybe more towards like the 82nd percentile. And if we drew a straight line to where it intersects the normal, these would be normal fuel levels for about June 10th. So very significant. We are way ahead of schedule. These are 10-hour fuels for today for the finer fuels. You can see into the 7% range or so in this orange area, and upper single digits to near 10% areas in this other shade of yellow. Now the upper level map shows a pretty big ridge of high pressure just off the coast, off the Baja coast. It's going to be our main weather feature as we go through the next couple of days. A little low pressure area to the south starting to retreat, a deeper low up in the Gulf of Alaska. Excellent overall dispersion still this time of year. We have some pretty good surface winds coming in out of the northwest. Peak gusts or strongest, or I should say strongest sustained winds, could be in the 25-mile-an-hour range. We see the specks of orange, otherwise in the darker green, somewhere between 18 and 22 miles an hour, lighter elsewhere. Minimum afternoon humidity, upper single digits in the south, mid-teens creeping further north into many areas, a little bit higher humidity in western Wyoming. The transport winds, of course, they're analogous to ridgetop winds, a little stronger in these orange and purple shades. We'll see some 30, 35 mile per hour values in these orange shades. Vertical mixing, excellent. Going to be probably 5,000 to 7,000 feet above ground level, even a little bit higher. Now for tomorrow, this high pressure ridge starts shifting further inland, starts expanding further northwards. So the high is going to be the big story. That's going to start decreasing overall ventilation or smoke dispersion in some of these yellow areas just a little bit. Eastern areas across Utah, eastern Idaho, and Wyoming still pretty good for overall dispersion. You see that's where the most decent surface winds will be, coming in mostly out of the north at maybe 10 to 20 miles an hour. Lighter winds as you head further west. The humidity is drying out in a lot of areas, 1 or 2% lower. Now, the transport winds on Saturday, again, strongest in eastern areas, very light transport winds off to the west. Vertical mixing, strongest in the south and east, and starting to get squashed down a little bit closer to that high pressure ridge in the west. Now, here's a high on Sunday, so the high pressure ridge itself, as curvature slides further in, is kind of centered over the Great Basin. That's why we're going to see fairly poor air quality on Sunday in some of these yellow and red areas. Humidity drying out again, 1 or 2% each day, 6%, 7% down south, and even seeing single digits getting towards the Idaho border and in some parts of Idaho. So definitely fuels which are already way ahead of schedule, going to be baking some more. Winds overall fairly light. The transport winds diminish a bit as well. 3-day precipitation totals, other than maybe a brief 5-minute shower in some of the highest peaks in southern Utah, not much at all. On Monday, the high pressure ridge centered now right over the Grand Canyon. Big high pressure overhead, warm up in temperatures. Again, dispersion, good because of the sunlight, but overall starting to weaken a little bit in northern areas. And then this high shifts a little bit further north and east on Tuesday. So again, we're gonna be warming up. We're gonna be baking. There is some subtropical moisture. Actually, the first hints of the monsoon. The monsoon usually develops in Mexico, central Mexico, by mid-May. So this is a little bit of it, but it's going to take a long, long time before it plays a role in our weather. So low dropping down, amplifying well off the coast, not affecting us directly. And then by Wednesday, the high pressure ridge kind of starts angling back a little bit. We do see a bit of mid-level to upper-level moisture starting to creep in, so some high clouds, some cumulus buildups maybe. And then by Thursday, there could be enough of a piece of some tropical moisture combined with this low to maybe give a brief isolated shower or thunderstorm in some areas in the green, but not much. And with this low approaching, our overall dispersion index starts improving by late next week. Here's a comparison of high temperatures. So we start the weekend on Saturday. You can see they're upper 70s in northern areas, maybe 80s in the middle areas, and upper 90s in the deep south. Look where they go by Monday. Southern areas warm up about 5 degrees. Northern areas warm up, I would say, almost 10 degrees. So a big warm up coming up. It'll be our first kind of a heat wave. A lot of the lower valleys will be hitting up into the 90s, even in the central areas of the Great Basin. No precip, days 4 and day 5, day 6 and day 7, maybe a brief sprinkle or shower, but nothing really organized. 7-day total precipitation, no relief. Our fuels will continue to rapidly dry out. The 8 to 14-day outlook shows above normal temperatures, especially across the eastern Great Basin. And I would take this above normal precipitation with a grain of salt. Normal as we go into the middle to latter parts of May is not much at all. This could be just a few brief 5 or 10-minute showers in the afternoon, and scattered, not well organized. So I wouldn't bank on that too much. Our seasonal outlook for May through August now available. It's been there for a couple days in case you're interested. And that is it for us. Have a great weekend. We'll speak to you again on Monday.